Hello, my name is Blair. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. And today is a really fun video because it's me just trash talking books I've hated, which they're some of my favourite videos ever on YouTube, along with like book unhauls, but kind of almost goes in the same vein. So I've made a list of 10 books that I've rated 2 stars or lower, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on them. This is my personal opinion. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. I know it's a sensitive subject, like if someone's favourite book is in this pile, but it's not personal. Like, what's that saying? One book read by 1,000 different people is 1,000 different stories. So I'm not judging you if these books are like up there with your favourites. And don't judge me either if I hate them. Alright? Yeah, cool. Remember to like, comment and subscribe if you want to. I'm not going to force you, but you know. So let's get on with it. Okay, jumping in with the book that has recently been on my channel, which was reading my lowest rated books on Goodreads, was Dead Father's Club by Matt Haig. I got varnish on it from my bookshelf. But this sucked, really. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. This was an 11-year-old boy called Philip whose father dies, and then he starts seeing his father's ghost, and his father's ghost wants him to fulfill like a revenge thing for how he died. That's all I'm going to give you. But it's not worth the read. This got 3.26 on Goodreads. I gave it a 2. The ending was atrocious. The ending was such a cop-out. The ending was, I don't know how to end this book, so I'm going to do this ridiculous thing, please. So, Dead Father's Club by Matt Haig. Didn't enjoy this. Cool. This next one has a 4.5 on Goodreads. Well, not a 0.5, 4.05, which I think is far too high for this. So, it's Scattered Showers by Rainbow Rowell, controversial author. I'm not going to share the drama, but if you want to look into it, lots of people have done videos on why they're not reading Rainbow Rowell anymore. I assumed this was a short story collection of gay stories. Because, like, she does write a lot of queer characters, and this is giving gay pride. This is giving gay. I don't know how many times I can say that. So imagine my disappointment when, like, one of the storylines is queer and all the others are just straight storylines, if I'm remembering it correctly. I'm bored of that. I'm so bored of that. So I felt really slighted with this. And I think the one gay story was, unless there is another one, but honestly, this was such a snooze that it doesn't stand out, was the Simon Snow and Baz, which was not even that good a story. I have an issue with Rainbow Rowell's writing anyway. I tend to find that when I'm reading her books, I hate it the whole way through until the very end. That's how I felt with the Simon Snow series. Like, how could that trilogy be simultaneously the worst trilogy ever written, but also kind of the best? It's so annoying. But anyway, I'm done with her. This was... But yeah, I did feel slighted, because look at it. So that had a 4.05 on Goodreads, and I gave it a 2. I've honestly still only got the book because it's so pretty. Oh, and I've never read Fangirl, and going back to my point earlier, I think that's the book that started the controversy. I told you I wasn't going to get involved with the drama, but yeah, here I am. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. This next one hurt me deeply. I thought about this for weeks after. I felt the passion of 1,000 suns with my hatred for how this book was such a money grab. It was such a money grab. and it's The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Fuck this book. Honestly, it's the most unbelievable love storyline anyway. Like, hand on heart, this book didn't need to exist. I've said it once, I've said it 10 times. I'll keep saying it. This book didn't need to exist at all in this realm of reality. It was a money grab. Adam Silvera doesn't have the intelligence to even think of how Deathcast would work. Sorry, if you don't know what this is about, this is the prequel to They Both Die at the End, where people get called 24 hours before they, like, on the day they're going to die, and they basically get called by Deathcast, oh, you're going to die today, so enjoy your last 24 hours or whatever. So I'm invested in how does Deathcast work, because Adam Silvera has basically said, no, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that, everyone thinks it's that, but it's not that. So I was like, oh my God, I need to know what it is, because I can't even think of what it could be, because I keep smacking my hands on my legs. I need to stop doing that. I can't even think of what it's going to be, because you've said it's not this, this, or this, or this. So what leaves, what's left? Nothing. Yeah, nothing. He can't tell us how it works. Oh, it infuriated me so much. The heart stuff. Don't get me started. That is so not medically correct. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I get this is YA, but young adults aren't stupid, Silvera. Sorry, I got really passionate about this one. I was just so excited about this one. And now I'm never reading anything from him again, because also, why is every story he does set in New York and it's always the same sort of characters? I cannot tell you any of the characters' names from any of his books because they're all the same variation of each other. Honestly, I'm sorry if this really hurts your feelings. I'm going so hard on this book. Yeah, it's like, I'm moving on. Oh, by the way, this got a 4.02 on Goodreads, which is a crime. Moving on. This next one as well is Verity by Colleen Hoover. The first Colleen Hoover book I've ever read, and probably going to be my last, because the majority of people have told me this is her best one, and if that's her best one, I honestly don't need to read the others. I don't need to know. I did the audiobook for this, and it made me so uncomfortable, but not in like how I think she imagined it would make me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what she was thinking writing this book, but you can't go from like horrific sort of child abuse to then like explicit sex scenes. Like, you can't do that. That was so jarring. And the writing is piss poor. Like, her writing isn't good. I have this thought, and this is from reading her one book, by the way, but I have this thought that because they're just so quick to read, that people love them because it makes them feel good. I've had this theory again about other books that are just snappy reads. There's another one in here, actually, that even tricked me for a hot minute until I thought about it, because it was such a quick read and I got that instant serotonin. I thought it was way better than it was, but we're not at that book yet. Verity. I hated this. I gave this, I think I gave it a 2-star. I don't think I went for 1 because something has to be really, really bad for a 1. I've rarely given out 1s, just as I rarely give out 5s. But I gave it 2 stars, and that's what it deserves. I don't judge you if you like reading Colleen Hoover, by the way. I read fan fiction all the time, and Coho books give, fan fiction sometimes. Like when a teenager writes a romance thinking that that's love, but actually it's toxic and horrible. Anyway, moving on. I unhauled this book, ages ago, but it's Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I just don't really like Becky's writing. she writes like she's writing queer fiction for straight people to enjoy. That's probably a real hot take, but that's what this book gave me. And all the characters were unlikable. Don't get me started on Leah. Was she in this one? I don't know. But there was a character that was awful, unlikable, and then I think she brought out a whole book on her. Yeah, she did. Leah Off the Beat, or whatever it was called. I can't vibe with her writing. The only books that I've like enjoyed it with, but then even then no, was these two. What If It's Us and Here's to Us? Adam Silvera and Becky. Maybe I'm just done with them as people. No, that's so mean. As authors, I don't enjoy her writing. Like I said, it is queer fiction written for straight people. I'll die on that hill. Join me if you like, or burn me at the stake. That's my opinion. I can't remember much about this book apart from it gave me that feeling. I can't remember if it was romance. I think it's probably coming of age. I can't be bothered to tell you about this book, to be honest, so I'm moving on. Oh, but it did get a 4.19 on Goodreads. I gave it 2. Devotion by Madeline Stevens. This read like I'm privileged, so I got published. That's what this read like. It's a story following a woman who becomes a nanny, I think, for these people, or like just helps them in their home. I can't fully remember. And she becomes obsessed with this guy's wife, like creepily obsessed. So that like intrigued me. But then where it ended up going was trash. There is such a horrific SA scene in this book that when I put it into my free little library, I put a post-it note on it warning people, because there was absolutely no preconception that this would even happen. And it was so horrible that I like closed the book because it was such a shock to me. So screw this book. I hated it. It wasn't written in a way that, you know, is even bearable. And a woman wrote this book. I'm so side-eyeing Madeline Stevens. Has she even released anything since release? Has she even, you know, had any other books? Because that really did read like she just had money to get it published or knew someone. Very nepotism publishing feels. But that's that book. I'm losing my mind. I can feel I'm slowly disintegrating into rage about bad books. But this only got a 2.78. I've made notes down here. A 2.78 on Goodreads. So at least I'm somewhat with the majority. For once, apparently. But I hated this book. I do not recommend it at all. At all. Let's move on to, what number is it now? I don't know, we'll see. Book number 7, apparently, is This Lie Will Kill You by Chelsea Pitcher? I haven't written down the full, like, I've written down a list of all the books I'm talking about because I don't own them all anymore because I just, like, got rid. But I think it's Chelsea Pitcher. But anyway, this book sucked. This is the most unbelievable nonsense. It was following a group of teenagers that get invited to like this mystery murder night, and then obviously one gets murdered, or you know, something along those lines. Again, when a book sucks, I barely remember it, and I'm not going to research into it because I don't want to read up about these books again. I'm just telling you they suck. It follows a group of teenagers. You don't care about any of these teenagers. Like, there is nothing in the writing that makes you care what happens to these people. So you're not even invested in the beginning. So much unbelievable shit happens. No, it sucked. This has a 3.22 on Goodreads. It deserved less, honestly. I think she wrote a book that is quite, like, popular, though. Let me know in the comments if she did, because the Chelsea Pitcher, that, like, rings a bell. But yeah, This Lie Will Kill You. Not for me. Not for me. That book nearly killed me. It was so boring. And it was like this slim. Like, and I just could not get through it quick enough. Like, I was just like, oh God, painfully bored. Painfully, oh God, ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on to book number 8. Book 8 is The Sanatorium by, I didn't write down who it was by, bear with me. The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. This was really good up until the end. This is, again, murder mystery set in some mountains. A storm comes, no one can leave this weird, creepy hotel that used to be a sanatorium, now a hotel. The name, The Sanatorium, is a lie. It makes you think like that it's going to be based in a mental institution, and it's not. Don't get your hopes up. This book was really fun. Fun reading until the end, because the end, the way they find the killer is, I'm not going to tell you obviously, but it's so unbelievable and absolutely ridiculous that it, straight down to a 2-star. It would have been a 4, but when it's a murder mystery or any sort of thriller, you need to have that ending good. Because that ending can knock down, like, what people rate your book so fast. Because it was well written, but the way that plot tied in, oh gosh. But I'd still kind of recommend this book, even just for the laugh that you'll get by the time you get to the ending. So this, it definitely isn't like the worst. Not compared to like these other ones. So I wouldn't say I hate this book. It's just not really for me with that ending. But this has a 3.37 on Goodreads, and I can imagine it's that low because of that reason. Let's go on to number 9, because I absolutely hated number 9. Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. I hated this book. This book follows a woman who is struggling with her mental health, and the entire plot is basically finding out what's wrong with her. Like, what has she got? What is causing her to be like this? But it is written like absolute Tory dribble. So if you like this book, maybe I am judging you slightly here because I'm thinking, some Tory behaviour. So anyway, I was struggling through this book because of that. And then you finally, at the end, get to the reveal of what her mental illness is. Like it's some crazy good plot point to have that as book. But whatever. Also, the character is extremely unlikable. And it's not because of her mental illness, because I'm also mental. Like, so it's not because of that. She was just written unlikable. You finally get to where you get the diagnosis. And I'm going to spoil this right now. But there's nothing to spoil. So, and the doctor says, oh, you have 2 lines. They censored out what she had. They just put 2 lines. Like, work it out yourself, guys. That's such a cop-out. That is such a cop-out. I got so angry. You've spent the whole book building up to this moment just to not give it to us and just be like... Like, it honestly made me think, is there some rule in fiction books where you can't write what mental disorder the person, like the protagonist, has? Because if there is, that is the only thing that makes sense here. Otherwise, what? I hated this book. This book got a 4.15 on Goodreads. And the final one, I still own a copy of this, is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, and this is the one that tricked me. I read it so quickly that I thought, oh, that was a good book. And then I thought about it. And this isn't a good book. You're following some privileged kids make a shit decision. Quite a few shit decisions, I guess. And there's a twist, but it's like, whatever. It's not that. You work out the twist way before it gets revealed. Well, I did. Don't know about anyone else. But I think this got big on TikTok. I don't have TikTok. So I found this all by myself. And I could have done without it. But I don't have anything too harsh to say about this one. I feel like I've spread all my rage to the other books. Because initially I thought this was alright. It was only after thinking about it for a bit that I was like, actually, it's not that great. But I can see why it's popular. This has got a 3.71 on Goodreads. I gave it a 2. All of these books I gave a 2. I think I might have given this a 1. But like I said, I'm not one for giving really bad reviews, but First to Die at the End deserved it. They're my 10 books that I absolutely do not like. I hope I didn't offend you. If I did, brush that off, because I don't want to offend you. I just wanted to release this passion of dislike into the cyber realm, so to speak. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Let me know some books you absolutely do not like. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to get some conversation going down in the comments. Speaking of, please like, comment, and possibly subscribe. That would be really nice. Today is Wednesday. I've officially been posting for 3 weeks. And yeah, it's still going. Wow. Okay. I hope you all have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching. Bye 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 bye.